Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kimar, and I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be a tutorial-ish on how I braid my hair down for wigs. I do want to say that this is not a braiding 101 video. If you need to know the fundamentals of braiding, please click out of this video. Well, actually finish the video first, then click out and go find a video that can teach you just the basics of braiding. Because knowing how to braid in general is kind of a prerequisite for braiding your own hair down for a wig. Now I'm going to show you how I braid my hair down for middle part wigs, but I can make a part 2 to show you guys how I braid, like just do straight backs for that are good for any type of wig. So as you can see, I've split my hair into 4 sections, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and I'm starting by braiding the front. I'm kind of braiding like over instead of under. Here's a little slow-mo so y'all can kind of see this technique. But I find that it's easier to braid that way and it makes the braids flatter. To braid it to the scalp, I'm just adding hair in as I move down my head. This is why I say you need to know how to braid in general before you can do this, because if you can braid, it's easy to kind of transition to braiding down to the scalp. So I typically do about 4 braids on each side in the front and then 3 braids on each side in the back. I have relatively thin hair and a relatively small head, so you may need to do more braids or less braids. You just kind of tailor it to your hair texture and your head shape. Also, definitely peep the heat damage. This is freshly washed hair, not blow dried anything. Washed, conditioned, and that's it. And it is straight like this. I straightened my hair for that little Rihanna costume. You'll see it probably in the YouTube short I posted like 2 weeks ago. And I used heat protector. I only straightened it once and it's just not curling back. A lot of people suggested protein treatments and deep conditioning, so I'm going to try those things. But also, can y'all comment some of your tips for heat damage if you have any? I'm tempted to let it grow out because at this point, if I cut it, I'm basically like gonna be big chopping all over again. Like I'm gonna have a pretty low haircut. I'm gonna have to cut a lot off. So I don't know. I'm conflicted right now. I do want to note that when I get to a certain point in the braid, I go back and braid the last braid into the current braid, if that makes sense. I feel like this helps the braids last longer, and I also feel like it's good for people with longer hair, so you don't have to worry about stuffing a bunch of like long braids under your wig cap. You'll end up with less braids in the end. So you'll kind of see that as I keep going, how the braids connect to each other. If you truly just like cannot braid, you can try to do the same concept but do it with flat twist instead. But I just don't think it will last as long. Like these braids can last like 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. I think flat twist you'll probably have like a week, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before you have to go ahead and redo them. But you can try flat twist. And I usually, when my hair was a lot more damaged, I would do flat twist in the back. And I am just using a little bit of Murray's Edge Wax. I think it's the Extreme Hold, but any Murray's Edge Wax will do. It just kind of like after you tie it down, it just makes them lay flatter and look a little cleaner and just overall better. I've done like braided my hair down without doing that. And I mean, the braids still come out okay, but they just come out much better when you use some edge wax or even like you can use like the shine and jam stuff, just anything to kind of like secure them. So I'm moving on to the back. I do want to warn y'all that the parts in the back are not straight. I don't have a mirror. I cannot see. I'm strictly operating off of vibes. But it's going under a wig. So personally, I don't think it matters. But if you want your parts to be straight, you can just put a mirror in front of you and one behind you and, you know, sit there and get your parts straight. But me personally, I don't care about that. As long as I can get the braids in, it doesn't really matter. Also, y'all know that I don't have a lot to work with in the back. My hair is very, very thin, almost non-existent in the back. So I can't get the braids as tight as I would like them, but yours will likely look a lot better when you do it. But it's just a little bit harder for me to get the braids as tight as I want them because the hair is thicker towards the middle of my head. Then I get to a part where it's really thin, then it gets thicker again at the bottom. And like I said, this is freshly washed hair. Now, granted, it's pretty heat damaged, so it is a little bit easier to braid. But I do this on my hair when it's like wet and curly, like in its most natural state. It still works the same. It's still the same technique. I will say that the flattest and neatest braids come from blow dried hair, but this is very much possible to do with no heat, no extra like real manipulation besides like the braiding down. So one thing that I ended up going back and doing is braiding the front braids into the back braids so that I just end up with two hanging braids. You'll see when it's all said and done what I mean by that. But yeah, that's something that I didn't start doing at first, but I ended up incorporating towards the end. So this is how they look before tying them down. I do suggest oiling your scalp after all the braids are done and before you tie your hair down and let it dry. I usually do that, but I don't know if y'all can tell by the way I look in this video. It was a rough day, so I kind of just put my scarf on and let it be what it is. So this is the next day. My hair was tied down for several hours and this is how the braids look. They always look so much better after being tied down. So I'm just putting some oil on my scalp and edges and all that, keeping my scalp moisturized. And yeah, that's it for this week's video. I apologize in advance if next week's video is late. I am competing in the Miss Georgia USA pageant, so my schedule is very much crazy, but I'll do my best to see y'all next week. Bye.